Hot, sweaty, sexy. Ooh. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Down Once More podcast with Matt and Rayleigh, and we're back for another one. If you haven't been miserable enough for the last episodes that you've watched, you're back and watching this one, and so it's going to be awesome because today we are going to be talking about one of my favorite and for sure my first ever musical that I ever became aware of / watched / enjoyed. Today we're talking about Rent, and I have appropriately dressed myself and put on my best version of early 90s, late 80s, early 90s grunge, angsty New York City, hard times, but like rock and roll outfit and hair and makeup so that I could be really part of this this whole thing that we're talking about today. And so I'm so excited. We're talking about Rent, and I love Rent. I'm gonna get to Matt in a second, tell me what he thinks about Rent. But first, Matthew is going to provide us a little brief synopsis of Rent. And so for those of you who haven't seen it, or maybe it's been a while or something, you want a little refresher. He's going to give you kind of like the Cliff Notes version. Do people still read Cliff Notes? Is that still a thing?
I don't know.
Totally dating myself right now. Totally dating myself. Cliff Notes back when we were in like high school and college was like, if you didn't read the book and you had to do like a report on it, you go to Cliff Notes and it had like the Wikipedia version. So anyway, dating myself. Old. Anywho, he's going to give us a little brief synopsis of Rent. And so if you haven't seen it, yet again, like I said in our previous episodes, if you haven't seen it and you don't want spoilers, maybe now is a good time to go watch it. But if you don't care, or if you've already seen it, enjoy. Okay, Matthew, what is your favorite, wait, before you go to your synopsis, what's your favorite, do you have an accent that you do, like, that you think you do well? What's your go-to, like, accent impression?
I don't really have one. I would say the closest I have is back when I was in high school. Hey guys, Matt here. One of these episodes I'm going to get through without having to record one of these and throw it in there. But if you just guessed, you're about to hear the exact same story about homeschool drama that I told on the last episode. You are correct. The reason behind that is we recorded this episode and the Hamilton one about 4 months apart, and I forgot I told it. I'm sorry. Strap in, you're about to hear it again. Enjoy. Good old homeschool drama. I went into doing the theater program because there were some attractive girls, which are hard to come by when you're homeschooled, in there.
I can imagine.
And so
you don't have any interest, do you? That could have been really awkward.
Yeah, and so the first play that they were doing was one that the director decided to write, which she finished like a week before the whole thing, like a week before we went on. And it was like a fairy tale thing with Hansel and Gretel. And I decided for the audition to do Steve Urkel-ish version of Hansel. So I didn't like this. And she loved it. And so it was the leading role, which was great for the first time ever doing it, but which also sucked because then I was stuck doing that.
Then you had to do that?
Yeah. I'm shit at acting and projecting anyway. So then I had to try to project and act while doing that voice. Like I can't even do it right now again. I did decently then. I got rave reviews from all the homeschool parents and people from churches. So
I bet. Well, it is a shame. It is unfortunate for you and fortunate for the rest of us that you answered that question so honestly, because now I'm going to put you on the spot and tell you, you have to read or tell. If you're going to read one, that's fine. If you're going to tell it, that's fine too. Whichever way you're going to tell us the synopsis of Rent must be done in said Steve Urkel-esque accent.
I feel like that's a really good way to get people to turn off this episode right at the fucking beginning.
Well, fuck
so I don't know if I want to do that.
I don't care if you want to. You're gonna do it.
The energy you were starting this podcast with and your commitment with your outfit is making me feel bad about myself, and I'm not gonna be able to match it. So it makes me feel even more old than I am. I am wearing a black t-shirt with a sad boy on the pocket.
What is it?
Sad boy season.
Oh,
Yeah.
it looks like a fish to me.
Oh, it kind of does. So
Well, you're channeling
Roger, probably mostly.
I was gonna say depressed Roger or like pre-Angel Collins, maybe.
I should have put on some guy liner though to really sell it. But
I was really hoping that you would, but you disappointed.
right.
But I will go with the black. We'll go with a Roger-esque. You know, that's what you're going with right now. That's your vibe. Yeah. So feel free to energize or not energize, because Roger's kind of like, man, I'm a pouty boo. Like, I'm so depressed and like also rock and roll and emo and shit. So if you want to do it that way, that's fine too. But you must give us the synopsis in some sort of accent or character.
I feel like if that's the standard we start setting, we're gonna get canceled real fast because we're gonna run out of different accents and we're just gonna get offensive or racist.
Oh no. Well, that might happen, but that might happen regardless. I apologize. I'm from the South, so I can't help it. But no. I never run out of accents or characters to interpret. Yeah. I mean, do impressions of.
Place your bets here for how many episodes it takes for Rayleigh to come out wearing a Confederate flag.
And only a Confederate flag. People are so confused now. They're going to be like, I can't watch it, but like, I need to see that. But like, no, that's terrible.
Guys, you're in for a treat. This is already very off the rails, and we haven't even got to the fucking synopsis of Rent yet. Okay. What are you drinking? What is that purple Prince's whatever?
This is the most ridiculous thing. I'm so ashamed to admit this, but I'm not at the same time because it's so white trash and awesome. This is one of those pre-made frozen blended margaritas that you can get from like the grocery store. So like,
with grape?
It said mixed berry on the outside, and in my defense, it's the only alcohol I have in my house. Okay, so I'm drinking it hoping for the best, but it's really so much sugar and just like, ugh. But I'm doing it responsibly. This is a reusable straw, so you're welcome.
That is responsible. I feel like you're either doing parenting right with not having much alcohol in the house, or you're doing it very wrong. I feel like if I had a kid, I would need all the alcohol.
That is why there is no alcohol in my house.
Touché. All right.
Let's get back to business. Hit us with a synopsis of Rent.
Since I'm being forced to, you will get it in the accent. If you've seen Rent, I recommend skipping the next 20 seconds. This rock opera tells the story of 1 year in the life of a group of bohemians struggling in modern-day East Village, New York. This is not the accent I did at all, the Urkel one, so I don't know what this is now. The story centers around Mark, and I'm gonna mix it up. We're gonna go movie trailer guy in the middle. The story centers around Mark, Roger, two roommates. While a former tragedy has made Roger numb to life, Mark tries to capture it through his attempts to make a film. In the year that follows, the group deals with love, loss, AIDS, and modern-day life in one truly powerful story. So that's Rent.
Bravo.
Thank you.
Well played.
But Rayleigh doesn't know about this.
Uh-oh.
Before we get into Rent, I had an idea, which I almost didn't suggest right now since we've already been off the rails, but we're going to go further into it. When I was picking up my dog's shit for 20 minutes in the yard, because it has been
20 minutes to pick up shit. Never mind.
I haven't done it in like 2 months because there has been snow and shit because I live in Nebraska.
Oh, right.
So then it melted and the weather's nice. So now there's so much poop in the yard, and then my dog keeps trying to eat the poop, and I don't want that to happen. So I went out, picked it up, took like 20 minutes. So I was thinking, wanted to inject something new. So we are going to try and see how it goes. New segment starting tonight. We are going to call it our vocal warm-ups. What it will be Each
Oh,
of
dear
us will
God.
have up to 2 minutes to just rant and bitch and vent about something random that is on your mind. We're going to see how this goes. I'm going to set a timer for 2 minutes. We each get to go
What?
with either, if you pause long enough, the other person can interject. But otherwise, the purpose of it mainly is going to be for the other person to just be able to either get something off their chest, rant, vent, go on a tangent, say whatever the fuck you want. I mean, not whatever the fuck you want, because this is going on the internet, but just go out. And so, I don't know. I want to try it. We'll see how it goes.
All right.
That's my thought.
I'm game.
Do you
But
want
you
to
got to
go
go
first?
first because,
Okay.
yeah, because you clearly have something you got to get
Yeah.
off your. I'm going to have to think about it for a second. So, but yeah, whatever is like this steaming pile of shit that you need to get off of your chest needs to go right now. So I'm ready. Hit me.
Okay.
Go.
Okay. I'm starting my timer for vocal warm-ups. Take one now. Okay. So I just want to vent about. I'm sorry. My dog just farted. It's really bad, and now I can't focus.
Is that what you're venting about?
That's not what I'm venting about. I will keep the timer going.
Well played, dog. Well
Yeah,
played.
he's trying to fuck me over.
You're losing seconds by the second.
Yeah. So I told you a little bit about this. I want to vent about how adult acne is bullshit and proof that either the devil exists or there's no God, depending on which way you want to take that. Because
Okay.
why the fuck does stress give you fucking acne? I'm already stressed about all this fucking bullshit and everything I have to deal with. And you're going to give me, as a 30-year-old guy, now I got this fun thing here. I have a fucking acne dot thing patch that just sucks the pus out and it's gross as shit on my temple. So I don't know why I called that out since I got the swoop here. But I'm like, this is fucking bullshit that we have to deal with. I think it's a sign that someone up there, down there, hates us. Because they're like, hey, we know you're stressed. We know times are tough right now. We know things are hard for you. So guess what? Here's one more fucking bullshit thing you have to deal with on top of all the other shit going on. So
what the fuck?
That was my thing. I did it in 1:30, and that was including the dog shitting herself. So that was it.
How do you feel right now?
I'll be honest. In my head, when I was picking up shit and I was going on, I'm like, man, I might need 5 minutes to go on this rant. Then as I was doing it, I'm like, I'm saying the same fucking thing over and over. So it didn't go as well as I had thought. That was also 3 hours ago. So I lost some of my steam and momentum.
I've been holding on to that one. That was a hard nugget of coal right there, sitting there just steaming. Need to get it. I can completely agree with you. As a woman, and this is not going to be my rant, I'm just going to agree with you and validate you. But from a woman's side, we get weird hormones all the fucking time, and we're just like, my body wants to do this. Explosions from your face, explosions on your body, and things are shaped weird and stretchy and then not stretchy, and then like everything hurts, and tomorrow you're fat and yesterday you're skinny. It makes no sense. So adult acne, I mean, I didn't even have acne when I was in high school. Like I had perfectly clear skin in high school, which is when all the other kids were like pizza faces. And now I'm like, now? So I feel you, bro. I feel you. And I'm so shocked that you pointed out your acne patch, because nobody, including yours truly, would have ever seen that or known about it.
Real stupid. But I commend you for
being honest about it, putting it out there for the world to see.
You're welcome. I should have made my rant after you said all that about how men have it so much harder than women because we can't. It's not socially acceptable for us to use makeup and blah blah blah. I'm kidding.
You're about to change my rant into something completely different than what I expected.
Okay, are you ready?
I think I'm ready.
Okay, I'm gonna start the timer. 5.
You know what's really bullshit? I have lived in apartments for all of my adult life after I moved out of the dorms. I have lived in Miami for 11 years now. 11 years in apartments, and I've hopped from apartment to apartment. Always a one bedroom, always tiny, always shoebox, always super expensive, blah, blah, blah. But I live in Miami, right? So like, first world problems. Right. However, for some reason in this city, none of the apartments have washers and dryers. You cannot rent a place to live in this city in which you can also do your laundry. Most of the time they have laundry in the building at least, right? So you may have to go down some stairs. You have to haul across like in front of your neighbor's door, like, hey, here's my dirty underwear. I'm gonna go learn my lower. You have to have quarters for that. Who just has like $10 of quarters lying around all the time? No one. So then you have to go hunt down the quarters. You have to come back and you have to do your laundry. Well, I got used to that. Fine. But my building currently, this one that I'm sitting in, the washer and dryers have been broken for coming on 6 months now. So, Matt, you may ask, Rayleigh, how on earth do you do your laundry? I'd like to also note that I have a toddler who is 3 years old and currently potty training. If anybody's ever been through this, they understand that means you have ample amounts of clothing with urine and or feces on them all the time. I have to go do all my laundry at a laundromat, which means I don't have to carry it down 10 steps. I have to carry it across the city in front of strangers and put it in gross washing machines where other people wash their gross feces covered underwear. Boo!
That was actually good with ending on the boo. I liked it. Yeah, so that is a fair rant. Coming back to rent.
Segue.
Yes, I feel ya. I lived in an apartment that we just had. There was not in unit, in the building, washer and dryer. That's always a pain in the ass. Like you go there and someone moved your clothes from the washer to the dryer. They wanted to use the washer, even though you're like, this may be finished 3 minutes ago. I don't need to touch it on my shit. I don't know if you wash your hands. No, it's dirty.
Fingers on my drawers.
That's right. So yeah, no. That's bullshit that it's been broken. You should be getting discounted rent.
That's exactly what I said. And they refused to give me a discount on my rent, which is already way too expensive to begin with. And now I'm paying for washers and dryers that I can't even use. What the fuck?
For shame. Now, though, we should probably actually get into rent now that we've spent 20 minutes doing this.
Okay.
We'll see if this sticks. If we have things to rant about. If we don't, feel like it could be fun. Cool. Maybe I'll give you time to prepare. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just come up with random new segments off the top of my head, and you'll just have to roll with it.
Just do your worst, Matthew. Just do your worst.
So, we're going to discuss rent. One thing I want to say, there are so many versions of rent available to see. There is obviously, if you see it live, which is the ideal way. There is the 2005 movie version. There is the filmed Broadway recording from 2000 something. And they tried to do one of those live musical on TVs on Fox. They did Rent Live, which was by far the worst. We are going to mainly be discussing the movie version of Rent, but we will also talk about all of the different ones thrown in there. We're going to see how long this goes, but we want to mainly focus on the movie version, because that's what most of these are going to be, movie musicals, and then we'll just throw in some different parts in there. Who knows where this will go, where it takes us, but that's going to be the main focus. We'll throw in the things what are some things that are different on the Broadway version and everything like that, comparisons. But instead of doing 2 different episodes or 3 different episodes, we're going to kind of intermingle them all. So it's going to be
that would be exceedingly boring for people to listen to us talk about the same exact musical 3 different times.
Yeah, unless we run out of shit to talk about a few years in, if we're still doing this, then we'll revisit. We'll do the different versions. One thing
Just repeat.
that's right, but technically it's different versions. One thing I want to highlight, which if people don't know, the Rent movie version is directed by Chris Columbus, who directed Home Alone 1 and 2. So, natural
I love
progression,
those movies.
you direct the Home Alone movies, then you direct the
Obs.
AIDS musical.
AIDS musical.
AIDS musical.
Obs.
Obviously, the next logical choice.
Clear trajectory in his career path. Clear.
Yeah, which the movie version of Rent was besides Rayleigh's Instagram videos singing Marine's performance, whatever, I can't blanking on the name of it, but that whole thing.
You mean her protest?
Yes, but it's actually called something else. Yes. Actually,
Over
technically, the
Moon?
first time you hear about it, it's referred to as her performance at the 11th Street lot. Thank you very much. Not a protest.
Oh, I'm
actually,
so
I think I'm wrong, because I think in the voicemail, Mark says, "I have a protest to save," before it's referred to as a performance at the 11th Street lot. Maybe?
Yes, and also, what's his name? What's his nuts? Benny. Benny says, convince Maureen to cancel her protest. Why not just call the cops or get an injunction or call the cops? Yeah, I did, and they're on standby. But my investors would rather I handle this quietly. Okay, I'm stopped now. Go ahead.
Which
I cannot promise that will not happen 10 more times minimum during this podcast.
In the stage version, that takes place later, not directly after Rent, the opening number, as it does in the movie.
Correct.
It takes place after Today for You, Tomorrow for Me. That's in right. The Broadway version.
That is correct, guys.
So we have Home Alone director directing the AIDS musical. That was the first interesting note. Another interesting thing, the movie has most of the original Broadway cast reprising their roles. The main differences being Rosario Dawson playing Mimi in the movie version, and I forget the actress's name, but whoever plays Joanne is different than the original Broadway version.
Tracy Thoms.
Might be right.
Tracy Thoms. I'll Google. You talk.
You'll Google it. Okay. So she was not part of the original Broadway cast. She is, however, she does reprise her role as Joanne on the filmed Broadway version of Rent.
Okay, that's where I got confused.
Yep. So she's on the filmed Broadway version, and she's the only same actress from the movie who's in the filmed Broadway version. Nice.
Tracy Thomas.
But a fun note on the filmed Broadway version is that the actress who plays Mimi in that is Renee Elise Goldberry, who plays Angelica.
Angelica from Hamilton. By far my favorite. Not just, I'm not talking about Hamilton, I'm talking about my favorite character in all of the Rent portrayals and all the different versions and all the different characters from all the different versions. Her portrayal of Mimi is the bee's knees. It is the best.
I agree. Her performance is my favorite. However, I do feel like Rosario Dawson does a very good job at it.
Killed it.
She crushed it. And one of the side notes, since we're not necessarily going chronologically in the movie, her agents had filed disputes with the director and everyone at whatever the production company is. I forget who it was, whatever studio does it, if it was Fox or whatever, because they cut out multiple of Rosario Dawson's singing moments in it. So in the movie version, you get a shortened version of Goodbye Love. You cut out the whole whole part at the end of that, which was a point of contention.
That is like one of the most emotional parts of the entire thing.
which is ironic because the director said why they cut that is because they wanted to have the emotional of Mimi relapsing and doing that stuff at the very end for the finale. They didn't want you to have like the hints and clues before that type thing, which you already get kind of
But it's
some.
like you already know that she's using and she's gonna run and she's already off with Benny. So you already know that she's in like a shitty place that like once Roger's leaving that she's gonna go spiral downward and it's like that's it. She's given up. And I think the moment that he leaves, when she sings Goodbye Love and she says all of that to him, like, and he's like, you heard every word. You don't want baggage without lifetime guarantees. You don't want to watch me die. I just came to say goodbye, love. That moment is like, then you're mad at Roger. Like, why would you leave her? You know she's going to die. And he's like, peace. I got my own shit to figure out. And I don't want to watch you die. And that makes me sad. So I'm leaving. It's not really that cruel and heartless, but I'm paraphrasing. But it's one of the most emotional parts. And he leaves anyway, knowing that she's about to like basically like giving up. Like she knows she's going to die. Why would you take that away from her? Especially knowing Rosario Dawson could have like just killed it with that performance. But anyway,
I feel like so Goodbye Love is actually, I think it might be my favorite song of Rent, the full version that we get on Broadway. Almost dumped my whiskey. Would have been bad. Actually, it's mostly gone, so it wouldn't have been that bad.
Would have been bad.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been fun.
But yes, if you listen to the soundtrack of the movie, you get it. Mm-hmm. If you listen to the sound, like if I am a nerd and listen to the soundtrack all the time, but if you're listening to it, suddenly this song comes up. You've never seen the actual Broadway show. The song comes on, and you're like, hang on a minute, I don't remember this in the movie. Where did that come from? And then it's just like, why did you include the song in the soundtrack? It's not in the movie. That make no sense.
Yeah, I'm always torn when I listen to the soundtrack. I usually end up listening to the original Broadway soundtrack because they don't have the soundtrack of the videoed Broadway recording, which I think they did on like the 10th anniversary or something. They don't have that soundtrack available. Like you can only have the original Broadway cast recording or the movie version, which the movie one, and you notice on some of the newer ones, they up the tempo of some of the songs, they add in some more instruments, they modernize it a little more. So
that's a word.
Which I actually prefer some of those mixes and versions a little bit better. A little more upbeat, up tempo, especially on Rent, the opening number. I think it seems like it has more energy going into it. And I also prefer Rosario Dawson's voice to Daphne Rubin Vega, who played Mimi in the original Broadway one. Agreed. And is also in The Heights. Fun fact.
Which I still haven't seen, but I will.
I got to get on that, but we have a few more episodes to record before then, so you get a little bit of a pass for now.
Thanks, boo.
So I'm always torn on which soundtrack, but I do usually go with the original Broadway because I has the voicemails in there. It has Happy New Year. The movie version does have a recording of Halloween, which is the song Mark sings right before spoiler alert, which all of this is spoilers. We've said that on our previous podcast. If you don't know that by now,
too late.
Whatever. Too late. Before Angel's funeral. So it's the song directly before Goodbye Love. They did record that, and they apparently filmed the scene of him singing it, but they never had the intention of including it.
Cut it out of the movie. I know.
Yep. So they do have deleted scenes of the full version of Goodbye Love on the DVD, and you can find them on YouTube too. So there is video of Rosario Dawson performing and them having the entire version. They also, in the movie version, they made it PG-13. So it still has AIDS, man,
it's kind of hard
heroin and all the drugs and stuff.
Leave that out.
But it edits a lot of the language, censors it, which it's not like you have to swear to make a point. but it feels a lot more natural in the
More
world.
realistic.
Yeah, the world everyone's living in, everything they're dealing with, who these people are, makes sense that it'd be a little more explicit. But at the same time, I respect them wanting it to make it this story, as powerful as it is, having it more accessible for different ages, not having it as restricted. Um, I honestly, I
Still,
didn't
if
look up.
you're going for a family-friendly film, I probably wouldn't choose the one about people dying of AIDS. It's just not one that you take the kids to go see, you know?
Mhm.
So
And
you
Rent.
kind of missing the point there by making it a little more like censored. I don't know. It just for me is like it loses the some of the like I don't know in intensity and dire shit that they're in
Mhm.
because you're kind of like, well, that doesn't seem that bad, you know?
Right.
Whereas if you watch the show, you're like, oh no, this is a horrible way to live and to
Mhm.
die. It's an awful existence that they had to go through. So it's more realistic. And I'm sure that Jonathan Larson is rolling in his grave going, why would you leave out the parts that I intended to make it as realistic and as intense as possible?
Agreed. I can see it going both ways because it did have the support of those that original cast that knew Jonathan Larson, worked
Right.
closely with him, and from what I've seen, most of them are very excited that they were still able to about the movie. Like there are obviously
Yeah.
things they're like, which would be maybe somewhat different, but everything I've seen is people speaking them speaking more highly about it. So I
I'm sure that
I don't know.
I'm sure they had their reservations, but would have rather gotten it out in any capacity than to not
Exactly.
have it out. So
Exactly.
you have to choose your battles, I'm sure. But
Yeah.
and
I
then go ahead.
I was gonna say I personally am more I want to see it in its most purest full form. Like I
Right.
said that on the Hamilton one, where when they decided because they put on Disney Plus, they had to edit out a couple f bombs,
Right.
and the ones they chose, I wasn't a fan of how they decided to edit that. But like it's like they're minor things, like they're
Right.
just things me nitpicking. My biggest problem with the movie version of it is where they try to translate sung lines from the stage version into
Mm,
spoken dialogue lines, but
yeah.
keep it the exact same dialogue. And it
Yes.
just seems unnatural as fuck and
Yeah.
so cringy. When I first saw, because like I said, the movie version was my first exposure to it. And that's where I first fell in love with it. And I watched the movie version. I loved it. I started listening to the movie soundtrack, loved it. I watched the movie a couple more times. Then I saw it live. And then I listened to the original Broadway cast recording to see more of it before I saw it live. But so the movie one was the first one I saw. So that was my first exposure. So I didn't notice it as much. It wasn't as jarring to me. I
Right.
went back a couple weeks ago when I knew we were going to be doing this and rewatched the movie version to take my infamous notes and get a feel for it. And man, did I just not hate it. I still love the main story at a lot of moments. But man, I hated when they made the sung lines into spoken dialogue. If
And
you
it
want,
still rhymes and you're like,
it just makes it
what?
so cringy. It feels like if you're going to keep the same dialogue, just fucking embrace it,
Just make
fucking
them sing
sing
it.
it. Exactly.
You've got a bunch of Broadway musical theater actors behind that on front of that camera. It's not like they're like, oh, well, they can't do this part. No,
Mm-hmm.
they can, and they
Yeah.
should have.
The guy who played Roger, Rent was his first Broadway musical thing. That wasn't originally what he saw for himself. He was a musician. My first exposure to him is in the movie School of Rock with Jack Black. He plays the lead singer and guitarist of the band that kicks Jack Black out.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, it's been so long since I've seen that movie. I cannot Wait a minute. I
Forget what his
remember
name is
him
in that.
now. Oh, you're gonna have to add in like a clip or like something of him
Yeah,
because
I'll throw
I can see it in my head.
his name, and it is Theo. Adam Pascal is the guy's name,
Adam
or
Pascal.
Pascal,
Yeah.
however you say his name. Yes,
There you go,
he
Pascal.
he is also a fun nerdy reference in the Marvel show on Disney Plus, Hawkeye. There is a in-universe musical that's kind of based on Hamilton, but it's Rogers the musical about Captain America. And in that musical, Adam Pascal's in it. On the Broadway, he's like the main one singing the whole song, and they actually have like the full song in it. It's like a whole Broadway production in the show, and he's in that. And looks older. He also has a cameo in Tick Tick Boom, along with the original actor who played Angel and Daphne Rubin Vega. They're also in Tick Tick Boom.
So good. I have to say, in the movie version, Roger, although he's the original Broadway star or Broadway actor, I still don't like him in the movie version as much as I liked the Broadway version that was filmed. I like that guy with the eyeliner and the short spiky hair, and his acting to me is just like so much more intense.
Yeah.
So much more like, I don't know, he's kind of I don't know, for me he's more believable as like a punk rock. Like I've been really like kind of like a has-been, sort of like he's got a has-been kind of vibe, but he's still, for me, he's more attractive and he's like better actor. And I just don't like the long hair that they gave Adam Pascal. I think that because in the Broadway show, and correct me if I'm wrong, when you saw it live, he has short hair, right? He's got short, spiky hair. Why do they have him have the long hair in the movie? I think it detracts from him. I think it makes him look less like rock.
I agree.
He looks way too Bon Jovi. Like I am not a fan of Bon Jovi, not in those days anyway. I like some of the stuff, but when the long hair and the like voice, it's just not like for me. No, I like the Roger in the filmed version way better, and he's got badass eyeliner. Oh, so hot. Oh, so hot. Yes, I'm totally into guys who wear eyeliner. Shut up.
It's fair. I'm going to go the other side though and say I think they actually did that on purpose, and the reasoning was to show how he'd gotten away, because in the flashbacks when he's singing One Song Glory and you're getting all the flashbacks with April, them sing, he does have shorter hair, he does have the eyeliner, and so they do this
take that away from him
to show that he's gotten away from that. He's lost his edge, he's lost his motivation, he's lost his muse, he's lost all of his ability. I think all of that was intentional, which I get where you're coming from. Well, they can't make the actor fucking grow hair in the middle of the show. Like, you're kind of fucking limited. Same with Lin-Manuel Miranda in Hamilton. He doesn't shave his goatee and then put it on in the different things. When there's the first song when he sings, it's talking about how you can't even grow a beard or whatever the fuck they say about it.
A valid point, Matt.
So, like,
I really legitimately did not even think about that.
Oh boy.
I could have given him a wig, but it would have.
How many of those margaritas did you drink?
I told you they're terrible.
I did notice too, one other thing about the movie. We already kind of touched on some of the songs. They switch the timetables up on things a bit. They kind of space it out more. In the original Broadway play, the first big part before the intermission, everything's on Christmas Eve and Christmas, like all condensed. And in the movie version, it's spread out a little more. When Angel and Collins show up, even though it makes no sense, it's like, oh, Collins was gone way longer. He was gone all fucking night. I mean, maybe that does make more sense why he was out with Angel, and now all of a sudden.
Well, I mean, she does say, and the nurse took him home for some mercurochrome. Right. Nursed his wounds and got him back on his feet. Say it. Okay, keep going.
Just like that.
It's like
See,
that.
I thought that's what you were going to come dressed as for this, but
If I had a Santa jacket with zebra striped leggings and knee-high boots with heels that look like this, I would have totally worn that.
good to know.
Totes my goats. And now
Cats
I'm gonna
episode is going to be interesting.
Oh God.
But
so creepy. Anyway,
I
will say the one thing that I'm glad they took. Wait, no, we're talking about how they had to censor the movie, right? Had to take it down PG-13. One of the glaring differences that they have in the show that they don't have in the movie, for that reason, I'm sure, to censor it, is, and I almost like am glad that it's gone out of the movie, because this like weird orgy, sex and drug scene, for me, it makes no sense, especially where it's placed. If you watch the show, like you see the Without You song, I die without you, and then and through that whole scene, Angel is like dying, right? He's like, oh, I'm like barely alive, and he's on the table, and Collins is like, I'm taking care of you, oh my God, he's all pale, I'm gonna die. And then the next scene is this like sweat, wet, hot, steamy, and it first for me it makes no sense, that scene. Like, I'm like, why is this in here? I know you need to picture that AIDS was spread by all of this activity with the like orgies and the drugs and the craziness, and they even say things like contact, no rubber, no latex, or like, we get it, you know. I got it, unprotected. But then why is Angel dying, and then we have hot, sweaty, sexy, and then dead? Like, why would Angel be in an orgy when he's almost dead? And and also when they come out of that hot, sexy, sweaty orgy, they all break up. That's when they're like, it's over, it's over, it's over. And Maureen and Joanne are like, it's over. And Mimi and Roger are like, it's over. And then Collins is like, no, it's over. Angel's dead. Why is that placed in that moment? And also, I think that it's just kind of gross and overdone. Like, it's really glaringly obvious what they're doing, and I think it's kind of overkill. So in the movie, they don't do that for obvious reasons, and I kind of appreciate that it's not there, because I'm not a big fan of that.
It is a very jarring song. And so, like I said, I saw the movie version first.
Me too.
Then I listened to the original Broadway recording before I saw the full version. Well, I came across that song after Without You. There's a voicemail thrown in there. I don't remember which one is voicemail number. I think it says 4. Like, what the fuck is this? And I Googled it, and no one on Google can decide whatever the fuck it means either. But the most common one is like, it's in Angel's head. It's their Angel as she's dying and going through that, because that's when Angel's singing like the lyrics besides expletives about rubbers and harder, faster, deeper, whatever the fuck they're saying is is Angel
being like, thinking of when I saw it. Better, faster, stronger.
Some Daft Punk. Yeah, it's like, it's Angel singing "Take Me, Take Me," oh, blah blah blah. Take me each day for you, tomorrow me. I love you, I love you, I love you. And then why they died. So I think it's just like Angel's showing like fever how dream.
He got to this point. Oh, he's fever. Oh, okay. Well, so he's in the midst of a fever dream.
That's what I like. That's what I saw some people saying, stuff along those lines, and that's kind of what I took from that. This is Angel's fever dream as she's dying, and like, there's one thing that's like, oh, it's showing all the different ways you contract AIDS, because it's called contact, but which I could kind of see. But I think with Angel's lyrics and everything, this is Angel's like fever dream as she's dying and all of that, and just saying "take me" and then telling everyone I love you. But I was so confused when I first watched it. I'm like, wait, did they just all have an orgy together? And
that's what it looks like on stage.
Well,
like,
yeah,
all
on the
of
stage
the main characters,
they're all they're on two tables under a blanket, and they're saying like "ow slipped," shit like that. And then it was
Wait,
bad for me. Was it bad for you?
right. And then
And
they're all
then,
like, it's
like you said,
over. Like, wait, y'all just all had like a crazy orgy with like everybody you know, and then you all decided to break up after that moment.
yeah,
It was, if you take it literally, then it is a terrible way to continue the plot. If it's obviously it's not taken, it's not supposed to be taken literally. Like I think it's not supposed to be like
I agree.
this actually happened. But for me, the placement of it was just so overkill. It was so like, what do you, why?
It's so jarring
Why do we
after
need
without
this?
you.
This is not necessary. We get the point.
I agree. I was
Or
fine with
maybe put
that.
it earlier in the show so that if you want to show like how everybody got AIDS, maybe that makes more sense. Like this is what we were all participating in and doing, and not necessarily together, but this is the lifestyle and what everybody's doing at this time and age. So this is why half the cast, or more than half the cast, has contracted AIDS.
Yeah,
Not cast. It should have more than half of the characters, not the cast. That's the wrong word.
yeah, I know what you meant. Yeah, the only thing is that it kind of sucks for the angel actor, because that's one of the ones where they could really get to show off some range and stuff like that in that
Right.
song with their lines. But yeah, I agree. That would not translate well to film, as opposed to like I noticed like One Song Glory, when they throw in the flashbacks where he's playing and the April and everything like that. I think that like works really well. And I
Yeah,
really
I agree
like
with that.
those visuals in the movie. Same with Out
That's how you get
Tonight.
to know what happened with April too, is those flashbacks.
Right. Same with Out Tonight opening at the Cat Scratch Club with Mimi doing some dancing. Um and everything like that. I think that works well, which are things that you obviously can't relay the same. Like there's some they do the dancing on the railing and balcony in the stage performance and the recorded stage performance. Um, but there's just certain things that when you're doing it in a movie instead of on a stage, you've
Can do
got
a
some more
lot more with
freedom
it.
with things.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was watching the Broadway filmed version, and I remember taking my notes, and I was just watching in that part where she comes out and starts doing the what's the time? Well, it's getting close to midnight. And she starts crawling on the like railings. And my note is literally in all caps, pants. Because I fucking love her pants. She is she is the hottest. Okay, first of all, she's super hot. She's her bod is like, yes. And then she's got these like bright blue, glittery, skin tight, perfect pants. And her whole outfit is rocking. She got glitter all through her hair that she's just like shaking everywhere. So she was like half the inspiration for my get up tonight. I was trying to like, I don't have her pants and I want them really bad.
In our logo, you have her pants.
I have her pants in my logo. Oh, if I'm gonna, I have to find them. Like, viewers, if anyone's watching, point me in the direction of where I can find these pants.
I feel like you could get
I must have them.
latex pants fairly easily on like
Not those.
Amazon.
They are
They have to be
specific.
sparkly blue and bright.
That color, that glitter, that skin tight. They have to fit like that. I also need her body while we're in the process. So if y'all can like, you know, make that happen too, that'd be great. Because I could just put those on and it's not gonna look like that. So that's kind of half the pipe dream, is that not just pants, but I need to like make them look like that on me too. So I just have that note, and it's just pants, just pants. See, pants.
Oh, nice,
blurry pants.
Nice.
I was not kidding. Like literally, literally, I need the pants.
I wasn't doubting you.
I just need to show you.
So we'll say where you said that about contact, you're like, it's just so random dropped in there and it's so jarring. Yeah. I had a hard time. So I was raised very conservative Christian. My parents are fairly conservative. I really liked Rent. My parents really like musicals. Like that's where I first got my love for musicals. Like we watched musicals a lot growing up. Sound of Music was one of the key ones. Sound of Music and Mary Poppins, two of the key ones. Don't remember if I've mentioned that before. But
same here. Same. We have similar backgrounds growing up, so
yeah. So
similar family lives.
I'm like, man, I feel like they would like some of the music in Rent. Music Rent's one of my favorite ones. I should recommend it to them. And so then I was thinking, and I'm like, well, I'd say maybe because they don't like the swearing or anything too. I'm like, well, watch the movie version. Like, if you want to do it, like there, I'm like, just a heads up. Like I always try to give, especially if it's people who I feel like are more conservative. I'm like, hey, just a heads up.
Yeah.
4 of the main characters have AIDS. One of them is trans. Multiple
4
of them are gay.
Right.
Like just a heads up going into this.
Yeah, the minorities in this show are the heterosexual, like white people with regular, normal white people lives. That's the minority.
Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, oh, I'd say watch the they haven't watched it yet. I told them to watch the movie because I'm like, then they're not getting all the F-bombs, they're not getting the contact scene. And then I watched the movie and there's the whole cat scratch club scene, and I'm like, well, fuck, maybe don't watch the movie either. I'm like, shit, I don't know which one.
She gets a bit pretty
frisky
on that stage. I mean, she does her thing, man. Kudos to her. She does her thing.
So I was like,
I think my parents watched Rent. You know, my parents also appreciate musicals, so I knew, and they watched Phantom when the movie came out. We watched the Phantom of Opera all the time at my house. So I watched Rent with them. I think I watched it with them the first time they watched it, and it was so awkward at times. So they're, you know, they love music and they love like theater shows, but they were just like, we are uncomfortable with the storyline. I was like, I'm sure you are.
There have been a couple times my parents have come over to my house and watched musicals. Like I showed them Hamilton, Newsies, and Tick Tick Boom. And In the Heights, or did we not watch In the Heights? I don't remember. But we were gonna think about watching Rent, and then I'm like, no, I'll let you guys, if you want to watch it on your own. That way you can turn it off if you want, and I don't have to deal with it.
I don't have to sit here with you through it. Yeah,
that's right. Also, I'm sure you already know this, but Idina Menzel, who played Maureen in the original Broadway one and in the movie, for those of you who don't know, she is plays Elsa in Frozen. Let It Go.
And for me, by far, way better Maureen than whoever it was in the filmed Broadway version. Yeah, I like her quirkiness in the Broadway version, but Idina Menzel is just like way better, just way, and her whole like over the moon, what was it? What do you call it? Performance, not a protest, performance. Oh, so good, so good.
Also,
hence
quite jarring.
I had to recreate it in my car ride. That had to happen. And it's not the only time that's happened. It's just like the only time it's ever been filmed while it happened. That's my favorite, like that and Light My Candle. Woo! Yeah. Woo! I love Light My Candle.
So I'll clip in some of Rayleigh's car performance of Maureen's performance.
I'm forbidden to produce milk. To do is jump over the moon. It's like I'm being tied to the hood of a yellow rental truck, being packed in with fertilizer and fuel oil, pushed over a cliff by a suicidal Mickey Mouse. Maybe it's a female thing.
Because that's what first drove me to watch it. Because I'd heard, like, when it came out, because I had a cousin who was in theater and stuff, and I remember him like posting about it on Facebook or stuff, like when the movie first came out, and I was curious, but like it was always like, oh, that's the AIDS movie, it's pretty adult, and so like I thought it was AIDS, and then I see that video of Rayleigh and it said like it was from Rent. I'm like, what the fuck is this movie? Like, I have no idea what the fuck is going on. Is drinking from
Especially
calendars and stuff.
if that is the first thing that you hear from Ren, you're like, what is this show about? Because her performance makes no sense and it is awesome. I didn't know that. Did I know that? Did you tell me that?
Yeah,
That,
I think so.
that my video is the first thing that made you want to watch Rent. I know that we talked about it afterwards. And that was how we knew we both like musicals.
Mhm.
But I think you must. I'm sure you told. That's so cool.
Yeah. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
And now we're doing this podcast, much to everyone listening's regret.
And it would have never happened if I hadn't been driving for 13 hours and bored out of my mind and recording myself doing really stupid stuff in my car.
That's right. Now my turn to say something to end the podcast again, because I feel like I've done that every episode so far. Marine's performance, I skip every time on the soundtrack. That's my least favorite song of the soundtrack. It's not for me. Her performance of it is great, but I don't listen to that ever. I'm like, I don't sing to this. I don't perform it. No.
I am shooketh.
Her performance of it is great, but it's just, I don't know.
What?
So out there. There's not much singing.
But it's so fun to shout it in your car. I'm forbidden to produce milk. In Cyberland, we only drink Diet Coke. Diet Coke. Diet Coke.
Also, that song is kind of
So sad.
racist. They tell the fork and the spoon, go back to China, and then go bitty bong. I'm like, I feel like that's not okay.
I don't think she meant that, but I didn't even think about that.
I don't know.
I don't know, but I thought she was just making funny noises. But
I don't know.
Perhaps you're right, and I didn't know. I wish I is. Uh-oh.
So
It's like I'm being tied to the hood of a yellow rental truck, being packed in with fertilizer and fuel oil, pushed over a cliff by a suicidal Mickey Mouse. Okay, I'm done.
I know pretty much all the words to it. I just skip it.
Every time we have this podcast, every time we have an episode, there's gonna be something that you're gonna say that's gonna make me want to like just leave. Like,
Yeah, I think the Hamilton one is the only one we've gotten away with that for so far. So, because we're probably getting close to this, could be a long ass episode.
Time, we should probably chop it up.
If we're getting longer, I might just clip this into 2 and we'll release them closer than usual episodes. So we can still say everything we want to say about it, but you don't feel overwhelmed by a 2-hour podcast right off the bat. So stay tuned, possibly. Couple notes. Movie version. They open with Seasons of Love instead of having it at the intermission. I mean, they still have it at the intermission, but they open with it instead.
Correct.
I have mixed feelings about that. I like the song. Not in my top 4 of the show. It's a good song. It's the one I feel like most people know from it. Yes. So many other things.
That's the one that first introduced me to Rent. I didn't even know about any of it. And then the first time I even heard about Rent was I was in high school show choir.
Yeah.
And I remember like practicing this song, 125,600 minutes. And I was like, what is this song? I've never even heard of this. What are you talking about? And somebody was like, it's from Rent. And I was like, I don't know what you're saying. And so then I had to go find out what Rent was. And then soon after that is when the movie came out. I have this, like, I feel like my first introduction to Rent was, and I think that's probably, like you said, most people's first or only song that they know from Rent. If you know anything from Rent, you probably know that song.
Yeah.
It's a good song. I think they all sing it well, but I don't think it's like, it's just like,
no.
it's good. Meh,
Yeah.
it's good.
So my top five from Rent, and then I'm gonna make you go with your top 5 songs from Rent. Okay. So be thinking.
Okay.
For me, it goes Goodbye Love. Then it goes I'll Cover You, Reprise.
Ooh.
Jesse L. Martin, where he sings that at Angel's funeral. Just
So
fantastic. So that's second. Then, then I think I go La Vie Boheme. Then You'll See. And then I can't decide now if I want to go Rent, One Song Glory, or What You Own for the 5th one. I think I'm going to go with Rent.
You told me at one point that One Song Glory is the one that you usually sing in the car.
Yeah.
Right?
I usually sing all of them. I think What You Own has surpassed One Song Glory. Now I also really like Halloween too. I don't know. I like most of them.
So funny. You like all of the songs that I'm not a big fan of, which means that you will probably not be a big fan of the ones that I like.
Gotta have some variety. Let's hear them.
I gotta say, I'm pretty sure my number one is Tango Maureen.
That's a good one too.
That one is probably my first go-to in terms of like what I sing in the car. Tango Maureen and Light My Candle are like, if I have a go-to song from Rent, those are the first two that I grab. I would say, what is it called? Oh, Out Tonight. I like Out Tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I like, what am I thinking of? What is it called? Take Me or Leave Me? No, what is it called?
Take Me or Leave Me is the one.
That's the name of the song.
In the movie, it's at their engagement party.
Yeah, yeah. Is that what it's called? Take Me or Leave Me? That one's super. That's the one I sing in the shower.
That's a good one.
Those four, and then I'll Cover You reprise at the funeral is like so emotional.
Yeah, I will say, with all my complaints about some of the stuff they do in the movies, I love Tango Maureen in the movie.
So good the way they did it in the movie. So good.
And I do love how they did Take Me or Leave Me.
Yes.
How they adapted that. I really enjoyed both of those. So the actual songs, I really like how they did in the movie. Everything else is what I didn't like for the most part. It's like One Song Glory. I liked how they did it and they filmed it and how they adapted it in the movie. Tango Maureen, I liked how they filmed it, did it adapt in the movie. Rent, how they filmed it, did it adapted it in the movie. So yeah, I think it's just gets, once you know the actual version, it is so distracting and make it seem so cheesy. Just the spoken dialogue of the song lines, like where it's, like you said, where it's rhyming, and it takes me out of it.
It does. I can understand that. I think I didn't know. Okay, when I first saw the movie Rent, I watched it and I was so happy. Like, I geeked out so hard because if anybody out there is a Law and Order marathoner like myself, I had no idea that, and he's Detective Green in Law and Order. What is his real name? I don't even know his real name.
Which one?
Collins. He plays Collins.
Jesse L. Martin. He is
Jesse L.
Nerds will know him. He is in the TV show The Flash. As
I knew him as Detective Green in Law and Order, which I had been watching my whole life. And I saw him on this movie and I was like, he can sing? And then he sang and I was like, oh, he can sing. Like, he can sing. And when he does I'll Cover You, the reprise, it's just like
so good.
Oh my God, so good. I had no idea. So I was just blown away by that fact. Like, hello, there's that. And what else was I gonna say? Tango Maureen for sure. The way they do it in the movie is so good. When she's in red and everybody else is in black and they're all like actually tangoing and she's just like doing her thing. Oh my gosh, so good. was gonna say something else though. There's another point I was gonna make, but go ahead.
I was trying to think. I was just going over my notes to see if I ever missed anything, but
the one where they sing, it's in the movie. They go out in the snow. They're just coming out of, it's right in between the two lovey bohems, and they're out in the snow, and they're singing. It makes no sense. The song makes no sense. I know, oh no, I know, oh no. Here goes. It goes. It makes no sense. I listen to the song so many times and I'm like, what are they talking about? Like, I know what they're talking about, but like, what are they talking about?
Yeah.
What are you saying? You're not saying anything. You sang a whole song and you didn't say anything. Back me up on this, people who watch this. If you agree with this, put it in a comment, because I feel like I'm crazy when I'm listening to that song. I'm like, I'm missing. What are you doing? Why is this? What is happening?
Yeah,
What's going on?
The last big note that I have, it's not that big, was where they tried to take Wayne. I don't remember as much from the stage one. I think they did pretend, but in the movie version of What You Own, they try to take away, like at the end when Roger and Mark, they meet back up on the roof, and there's the lines where Mark's singing to the deadline line. He's like, Alexi, Mark, call me a hypocrite. I'm making my own. I need to finish my own film. I quit. When he says that, like, it would be so easy for them to just give the guy a motherfucking phone and have him pretend like he's on the phone. But instead, he's on the roof just singing out to everyone. I'm like,
I hope you hear me, Alexi.
Fucking movie. Go to the pawn store, spend $5 on a 20-year-old cell phone, and like
on the stage, he actually has like the phone. And
that's what I was thinking.
And he says it, Alexi, which to me makes sense, because then you can actually figure out what he's saying. In the movie, if you don't know what he's talking about, it's hard to hear what he's saying. Alexi, Mark, call me a hypocrite. I quit.
Yeah.
Alexa just talked to me because she thinks I'm talking to her. Don't stop listening to me, Alexa. I said Alexi.
Alexa's now gonna call you a hypocrite whenever you talk to her, because it thinks that's what you said.
Because I'm saying, call me a hypocrite. I quit.
Yeah. Or call suicide prevention because it thinks you were saying you just quit life. One of those two.
That was so creepy. I hate my Alexa.
I don't have one. But well, thanks for giving me a thumbnail image now. But yeah, that was the last big thing I had. That's my one little nitpicky thing on the movie version.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I would recommend people find and watch the Broadway recorded version. It's not like a bootleg version. They did an actual filmed version of it, similar to Hamilton, just not with quite the production level, like After Effects and lighting and stuff. You can tell it's just a film stage version, but the audio quality is the important part.
And the cast is incredible, even though they're most of them are not the original cast. They are incredible. I love them.
Yeah, and at the end, most of the original cast shows up to sing Seasons of Love at the end. Which, last I checked, it was posted in full on YouTube. The Broadway film version. Otherwise, you can get it on Vudu. I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I think I saw it.
There's lots of places. You can pay to rent it, or if it's not, the full version isn't like just posted for free on YouTube. You can pay to rent it, and I highly recommend doing it.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was YouTube or Peacock or like Paramount or one of those places that streamed it, but it was on there. I got it for free, so yeah, it should be easy to watch.
The other ones that I really miss from the movie version, I really like Christmas Bells. I really like that one. Sorry. That whole scene. Yeah, I love. And so that's the other one that I'm bummed that didn't make it into the movie.
There are quite a few of those little like in-betweeners that they sing on stage that you don't get in the movie. They kind of, I think they make the story move a little bit better, a little bit, it flows a little bit better when you have those in-between moments. And like the homeless crowd, or like the people who are struggling on the streets, you don't get any of those characters. I do like the support group from the movie though. The guy who sings, his name is Gordon in the movie. That's his character's name. the guy who sings that part in the support group, he's got a very small part, but his voice is so good.
That's another one of my go-tos.
I could just listen to him sing all day. His voice is so good, and that song is so good. I just thought, it's so good. It's good, people. That's the basic. That's what we're trying to tell you. It's fantastic. It's so good. It's a little hard to watch. It's very emotional because it's like a really hard time to have lived life in America, especially in New York City, going through the AIDS epidemic and before there was real medication, before there was really any information about it, and people were dying, and life was really hard. Not that I know, but I'm empathizing or sympathizing. And anyway, it's a touching story. It's really, really good, very emotional, and the music's incredible. So if you haven't watched it, highly, highly recommend either version, whichever you have access to, watch, because you won't be disappointed. If you like musicals, you won't be disappointed. It's a good one.
Right. The music is great regardless. So with that, a few notes, a few final things, because I feel like that's pretty much all I have to say about the movie. For the most part, I think we covered it.
I think we covered.
Give me last notes. Hit the key points at least.
Yes.
Okay. So if you have seen Rent, listen to the musical. If you haven't, go watch it. If you have a comment below, let us know. Hit us up on social media. We'll have everything linked. Let us know what your favorite song is from the musical and why. Let us know if you agree with us on some of the takes. Subscribe for upcoming stuff. We're going to go on a little bit of a Jonathan Larson tear these next few episodes. We will do Tick, Tick, Boom will be our next movie one. Then we'll drop a bonus episode that's a little more kind of Jonathan Larson focused. And that will probably be a little bit of a shorter one. So we'll just throw it in there for you, because we didn't really get into much of what I went into the writing of Rent, and we're not going to much with Tick, Tick, Boom. I mean, there will be a little bit because Tick, Tick, Boom is semi-autobiographical, but there's also a really good documentary about Jonathan Larson and the making of Rent called No Day But Today that you can find on YouTube, or the DVD version of Rent. It is a bonus feature on there. So we'll talk about that a little bit in a different episode. And so stay tuned, subscribe so you get notified when all those things go live. Because again, we're not really following a normal release schedule. So we will release these when I am
schedule.
Yeah, I'm an impatient person. And so I have a hard time sitting on stuff. So like our first episode and everything, I edited for a couple weeks before, and I just wanted to post it. I'm like, no, wait.
He did. I can verify that. It's true.
Ouch. I'm only going to be able to do that for a little bit. So I will eventually start just going ham, and you might get episodes more frequently.
Look out, world.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Stay tuned for what comes next.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for putting up with our craziness and bullshit. And if you have any ideas for me to get some sort of outfit or costume or my hair done in some way for Tick, Tick, Boom, feel free to let me know, because I have no idea what I'm going to do. But I feel like I need to have some sort of, I'm gonna keep going with the theme. I have to dress it or put something on, some accessory that I have. So if you have any great ideas, let me know. I just may just put a curly fro on my head and wear a white shirt, like a white Henley, or find like a,
there you go,
from his show, or like find a Moon Dance t-shirt.
Dance Diner. Yeah, you can buy the Moon Dance Diner ones.
T-shirt.
It is a thing.
Diner. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so cool. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for listening to us. And if there's anything else you do want us to talk about, please let us know. But otherwise,
comment things you want to see. We have a list, but we'll also probably West Side Story is coming out on Disney Plus. we might throw that in the mix before other things get released. So that may have already came out. If it is, hope you enjoyed, and I'll cut this part out of this. If it hasn't, stay tuned. Also, I hate being this person because I hate when people do it all the time. But like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff.
All the things.
Leave us reviews on Spotify, Apple, everything like that. Engage with us on social media. Helps trick the algorithms, help more people to see us, which could be a very bad thing. But we like it. We want to grow. We want to get better. So give us feedback. Give us comments. We want to hear more of what you want to see. So
let's wrap it up.
Thanks,
guys, for tuning in. And go down once more. Okay. I always forget that it does that. I'm always like, whoa, somebody's talking to me. All right, ready? And go down once more.
Or twice if it's a long time between episodes. We don't want you to go through dry spells. That's rude. So,
can't have that.
No, shit. All righty. All right. And that is that. Later.